Well, hey everyone, it's Scott with Business Marketing Fuel, and what I want to do today is start this BMF Project Authority video to show you exactly what Jim Krill and I have decided to do, and that is go live and build something from scratch. So this way here, you can see exactly how we think and I think, because actually I'm showing Jim this whole process and kind of like the new model here, okay? Because the old model was the small niche sites, which you may be familiar with, you may not be, but you used to be able to just build 3 to 5 pages on a website or a blog, and then go after some low-hanging fruit, meaning some long tail keywords. And again, if you don't understand that right now, it's not going to matter because we're not going to go down that road, because that road is no longer a viable one. And I wouldn't have suggested that before anyway, because it's not a long-term strategy. The authority site is what we're going to be focusing on. And this doesn't have to be this, site that has hundreds upon hundreds, so you think you got to get overwhelmed here with all this stuff. I'm not saying that. We're going to do this slow and steady, but I'm also going to show you how we're going to do this without really relying on Google. So here's the thing. It's not a small niche site. That's not what we're going after. We're going after something that we're going to be able to build over time that's going to generate traffic slowly through Google a little bit, but we're not going to rely on that. It's going to be more through building an email list and an audience. So this way here, they're going to enjoy this information that we're going to share on this site. Now, again, we haven't picked it yet, okay? And we're kind of going through the brainstorming process, which I'm going to illustrate all 12 steps here that we're going to be going through. But also in the next video, I'll show you exactly how I'm suggesting that you go about doing some research after you've brainstormed. All right, so with that being said, this new income model for long-term results is this. It's creating an ultimate resource, okay, for whatever niche or niche, as a lot of people call it. It doesn't really matter. It's basically coming down to the topic, okay, that you're going to choose. And you're really going to want to pick a topic that you're passionate about. I hear people say, well, you don't have to be, but you know what? It's going to make it a lot easier when you're creating content and you're going to be learning about this market and becoming even more of an expert if you aren't already. So the ultimate resource is going to be the blog, where we're going to have people wanting to come and sharing this information, because that's what we want to create here. We want to make the internet a better place to be, all right, and to browse and find information. We don't want it to be spammy, okay, at all. We're going to create an email list, which is going to be huge, okay? That's going to be a huge source of our traffic. Now, you may be saying, well, Scott, how do you build an email list? Don't worry, I'm going to get there, and it's going to be a very, very important part, okay? But don't think you have to build a list of 1,000 or 5,000 people to start. You don't. We're going to start with a very small list. I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. The other thing is we're going to create content, and again, I'm going to go through strategies and techniques on how to do that so it's good and people are going to want to share it, they're going to want to consume it, and they're going to get value from it. And then ultimately, we're going to want to be able to have products, either if they're our own products or products that we know that we can sell or offer or refer as an affiliate, whatever. But that's the basic framework right there, okay? Create the ultimate resource, such as a blog, an email list, content, and products, okay? That's what it all comes down to. All right, so here's the other thing I want to point out. We're going to create this, okay, without relying on Google. So I wrote there, create steady traffic that you control. This is so important, okay? When you create your own email list, you can push out content whenever you want. Now, people are going to want to receive information from you if you're giving them good, valuable information. And that's what I'm going to preach here, all right? So I wrote there too, no Google traffic required. I think that's huge because a lot of people are building sites trying to go after certain keywords, and it takes months to get ranked. And then when you do get ranked, if you get any negative SEO or backlinks or any of that stuff, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it, because you're not going to need to know, because this is not going to be requiring any backlinking strategies. And if you're thinking that this is going to be something like that and you don't want to, you don't want to do that or whatever, don't worry. It's not anything to do with backlinking. And if you did want it to be about backlinking, you might want to close this out right now, because it's not going to be any of that. We're going to create an audience that loves our content. Okay, we're going to create it so that they're going to want our content. They're going to want to share it. Okay, that's the main thing here. We're going to build the site over time with steady growth. That's the other big mistake I see people making. They want to build a site, slap it up there quick, and get results instantly. That's not what we're doing. Think of this as building a home, or building your legacy, or building something that you're going to be proud of. building something that people are going to say, wow, that's an awesome resource. Okay, that's what we want to go after. Just like I'm doing here on Business Marketing Fuel, take this as a model, right? I'm doing this to create the best resource that I possibly can. All right. So this way here, it steers you in the right direction so you can get results and do something again that's going to, if you take this information and you create a site on how to help people, whatever, garden better, well, that's awesome. We just did something that's good for the world, right? We did something that's good for people. All right. Or someone that, or maybe you're doing something that's going to help people, save time when they travel. Okay, well, that's helping someone, right? I mean, that's helping someone have a better experience when they travel. So that's what I'm talking about here. So you want to listen and deliver what your audience wants. That's going to be huge. We're going to want to put our listening cap on and we're going to want to listen. I'm going to show you techniques that I've used to do this. So this way here, you can deliver content that people are waiting for and they're wanting. And they're going to want to open the email now because you've just said exactly what they wanted because you did a small survey or you got an email from someone after you ask them what they wanted more of. There's a whole bunch of things that I can share with you, and I'm going to share with you on how to do that. Okay, but this is just like an overview of what this BMF Project Authority is, okay, that Jim and I are doing. Here's just a kind of like an overview of what it looks like, and I want to keep it simple because I think simplicity is key. Small email list, create awesome blog posts and ask them to share it, and then just rinse and repeat. That's what we're doing here, okay? Now, obviously, there's steps that are going to lead up to, well, how do I get the blog created? How do I create the email list? How do I, put an opt-in form on? What's the best way? All of that stuff. I'm going to cover all of that stuff in this, but we got to start somewhere, and this is the basic overview. I just want you to understand this framework, okay? Small email list, create awesome blog posts, ask them to share, rinse and repeat. When they start to share, they're going to push people back to certain blog posts. And when I show you how to set everything up with these tools that I'm going to share with you, you're going to be able to get people on your email list just by them visiting any of your pages, okay, on your blog. That's the key here, okay? So basic stuff right here, okay? Now, here is the simple business startup plan as I classified it, right? It's step one, you're going to brainstorm niche ideas, okay? And I'm going to break these down, obviously, per video and stuff. The next video I'm going to be talking about is how to brainstorm, how to come up with ideas, and a couple of tips and tricks that you can use that can identify markets that are already spending money. All right. So one, brainstorm niche ideas. How do you do this? You just sit there and write down ideas. Do a brain dump. Dump all of the ideas in your head on paper. And anything that comes to mind, things that you might have struggled with in the past that you got good at, or maybe things that you're just passionate about that you want to learn more about. All of that stuff. We just recently did a podcast, I believe it was episode 14, that talks exactly about this. So you may want to listen to that. I'll put a link below this video for that as well. Okay. Then what you're going to want to do, step two, is pick 10 topics that you're passionate about, okay, that you want to write about, that you want to know more about, that you want to deliver content on a regular basis. This is so important because if you don't do that, then you're going to find yourself not wanting to write or not wanting to create videos or not wanting to create content for that market. So that's very, very critical. And I'm going to explain how to identify that as well. Step three, you're going to want to research if they're buyers. This is another one because sometimes you'll find a market that you love and you're passionate about, but yet people aren't spending money. So then what's going to happen is you're going to create all this content and you're going to want to do it. But the thing is there's no way for you to monetize it so you can continue to do it by spending all this time. Because let's face it, right now I'm recording this video and I'm not getting paid for it. Okay. But in the future, if you go through one of my links to purchase one of the tools that I recommend, I'll make a small commission and then I would get paid for creating content like this. But this video is totally free. I'm not holding anything back. And that's what you want to do within your market, is be able to share ideas or tips or tools and then be able to, make money at that. So this way here, you're not doing it just for the sure fact of doing it for nothing. Okay, so now choose the niche. That's another huge part because then you're making that commitment. And you know what? You may do this. Okay, you may go through all of these 12 steps and find out that it's not a market that's going to work for you. And that's okay because now you've learned through the process. Don't think everything you do is going to be a home run. But if we can do some of this preliminary stuff in the beginning, it's going to also make it easier for you to make sure that you're going to have the best chance of your success. All right, so again, I'm just going to breeze through these real quickly. So I am going to cover these in great detail. Then step 5, you're going to create a simple blog, and then you start creating posts on that blog. Step 6, you're going to research and create your free offer. This is critical because when you're starting to build that email list, you want to give people that are interested in this market something that they want, something that's going to help them. And by doing that, it's giving them a free offer. It could be a download, it could be a PDF, it could be an audio file, it could be maybe a massive list that you put together of all these researches from other people's sites. That this way here, they don't have to go searching around for everything. Maybe you've accumulated all of this stuff. Again, these are just a few ideas off the tip of my tongue, top of my head, that this way here, you can see that you just want to create something that's going to offer value to someone and to get their email address so you can start building that relationship. Step 7, you're going to set up the email autoresponder. Again, I'm going to go into great detail on how to do this. I use Aweber, and I'm going to show you how to use that particular service. Step 8, create a landing page. Okay, and this is also known as a squeeze page. It's a place where the opt-in form is going to go, and there's many different ways you can do this, and I'm going to show you a couple that I've used that are working really well, and different ways you can do it on your blog and off your blog. All right, and step 9 will be create a Facebook pay-per-click campaign. This is critical. This is where you're going to pay a little bit upfront to build this email list, but it's going to benefit you time and time again. And this is where your traffic will start to come from. And you have to start with something small. Now, yeah, you can go out there and you can write articles and guest posts and do all that stuff, and you can start to get your email list that way. But if you want to get it done in a hurry, so this way here, you can get at least 100 email addresses to start with. That's what I'm shooting for here, okay, is 100 email addresses. And I'm putting there in step 10, spend $100 to build that list. $1 per email address. I think that's pretty good. And if you've listened to anyone else out there, $1 per email address is pretty darn good. So that's what I'm going to be going after. Step 11 is email list with tips. Okay, so you want to email them on a regular basis. Hopefully you can do it weekly with a great blog post that they're going to want to open and they're going to want to read and consume and then get results and email you back with other questions about that. Because what's great about when you do an email list, or when you email your list with a post that you just created, you're always going to want to at the end say, if you have any questions about this, or if there's something that wasn't clear, let me know and I'll do my best to help you. And then you'll start getting emails from people saying, well, I didn't get this part of it, or do you have any tips on this? And then that's going to help you create your next blog post. See? So you're going to want to ask them and always be interacting with them. So the email is going to be a huge component to this, huge component. And we preach a lot about that on the podcast. Step 12 is going to be create more content, obviously, right? So we're going to want to continually be creating content. And a lot of people say, well, what if I don't know what to write about? That's why that email list is going to help you, because you're going to always be engaging with these people. And we'll talk more about creating a Facebook fan page. That'll help you as well. I've used that for the past 2 years now, and that has helped my business get ideas and test things before I actually run a campaign maybe. So that's another way to do it. And Facebook is always changing. So there's different things that you're going to want to be doing. But with that being said, step 12 is create more content. Now I put down their hourly budget, 40 hours, because what I'd like to see happen here is take every different task here that we go over, I want it to be an hour per day, no more. Now, if you're ambitious and you wanted to do 2 hours a day and you want to cut that time in half to where it's only 20 days, you can do that. But I don't suggest trying to do everything in like 3 days. It's just going to seem overwhelming, maybe confusing. You might not have a clear head. So just slow yourself down, commit to doing this, but commit to finishing the process, to finishing this here when you do start, finish it and give it a good, fair chance. Because what's going to happen is you're going to do something, you might not get results right away. You just got to keep going. All right. And that's what I'm going to do here is guide Jim through it, but I'm also going to guide you through so you can see the entire process. And our goal here is to build something that can, yes, make money, but also create an audience and a loyal following. So this way here, we can continue to grow this thing, not just for today, but for tomorrow. All right. So with all that being said, now a lot to think about. The first thing that I want you to do is start brainstorming. I want you to start writing down those ideas. All right. And like I said, if you missed the episode that I shared, some techniques and stuff like that, you're going to want to go to the podcast episode number 14. I'll leave a link below this video, and then from there you can actually see or actually listen to how I describe on how to do that. But the basic thing here is to just brainstorm. Think think about things that you're doing on a daily basis that you enjoy, or that you have hobbies, or things that you just genuinely like to do. And it doesn't have to be necessarily a hobby. It could be something that you're good at and that you help people with on a regular basis. Or if people ask you, hey, how do you do this? You got such a nice lawn out there. How do you get it so green? If you get that question, maybe that's your thing that you're supposed to be, teaching people how to be a better green thumb or something. Again, I'm just throwing out ideas, but that's what you're going to want to do here, because then what we're going to do is we're going to narrow it down and really get it precise to where you're going to focus it down after you do some of these filters that I'm going to give you to identify the market that you're going to be starting to create this small business and then build it into something big. So once again, I'm Scott with Business Marketing Fuel, and I'll see you in the next lesson.